In the heart of the mist-shrouded countryside, where the trees grew gnarled and twisted as if in agony, stood Blackthorn Manor. The estate had been abandoned for over a century, its once grand facade now crumbling under the weight of time and neglect. Locals avoided the place, whispering tales of curses, disappearances, and a darkness that seemed to seep from its very foundations. But for Eleanor, a historian with a penchant for the macabre, Blackthorn Manor was an irresistible mystery. Eleanor had spent years researching the manor's history. Built in the early 1800s by the enigmatic Blackthorn family, the house had been the site of unspeakable tragedies. The family's patriarch, Alistair Blackthorn, was rumored to have dabbled in occult practices, and his wife, Eliza, had vanished under mysterious circumstances. Their only son, Thomas, had been found dead in the manor's attic, his body contorted into an impossible position. The family line had ended with him, and the manor had stood empty ever since. When Eleanor received permission to explore the manor for her research, she felt a thrill of excitement mixed with unease. She arrived on a cold, gray afternoon, the sky heavy with the promise of rain. The manor loomed before her, its windows like hollow eyes staring into nothingness. The air was thick with the scent of decay, and the wind carried faint whispers that sent shivers down her spine. Undeterred, Eleanor stepped inside. The interior was a labyrinth of shadowy corridors and dust-covered furniture. The walls were adorned with faded portraits of the Blackthorn family, their eyes seeming to follow her as she moved. She began her exploration in the library, where shelves lined with ancient tomes stretched to the ceiling. Many of the books were written in languages she couldn't understand, their pages filled with strange symbols and diagrams. As the hours passed, Eleanor became engrossed in her work. She uncovered journals belonging to Alistair Blackthorn, detailing his experiments with summoning otherworldly entities. The entries grew increasingly erratic, culminating in a final, chilling note, *, it is here. It watches. It waits. The walls, they speak to me. Eleanor's unease deepened as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the manor into darkness. She lit a lantern and continued her search, determined to uncover the truth. But as she ventured deeper into the house, she began to notice strange occurrences. The temperature would drop suddenly, her breath visible in the icy air. Shadows moved where there should be none, and faint whispers echoed through the halls, too indistinct to make out. She found herself drawn to the attic, where Thomas Blackthorn had met his gruesome end. The stairs creaked ominously as she ascended, and the air grew heavier with each step. The attic was a cluttered space, filled with broken furniture and forgotten relics. In the center of the room was a large, ornate mirror, its surface cracked and tarnished. As Eleanor approached the mirror, she felt a strange pull, as if it were calling to her. She reached out to touch it, and the moment her fingers brushed the glass, the whispers grew louder, more urgent. She could almost make out words, fragments of sentences that sent a chill through her veins. "Help us, set us free," Eleanor stumbled back, her heart pounding. The lantern flickered, casting erratic shadows on the walls. She turned to leave, but the door slammed shut with a deafening crash. The whispers became a cacophony, filling the room with a sound that was both human and inhuman. The mirror's surface began to ripple, and Eleanor watched in horror as shadowy figures emerged, their forms shifting and writhing. She realized too late that the mirror was a gateway, a prison for the souls Alistair Blackthorn had trapped in his experiments. The spirits surrounded her, their eyes burning with a desperate, malevolent light. They reached for her, their cold fingers brushing against her skin, and she felt their anguish, their rage, their hunger. Eleanor screamed, but no sound came out. The lantern went out, plunging the room into darkness. The last thing she saw was the mirror, its surface now a swirling void, before she was pulled into it. Days later, a search party found Blackthorn Manor empty. Eleanor's equipment and notes were scattered throughout the house, but there was no sign of her. The only clue was a single page from Alistair Blackthorn's journal, lying on the attic floor. It read, "The walls are alive. They hunger. They consume. And now, they have her." The manor was sealed once more, but the whispers never stopped. Locals claim that on quiet nights, you can still hear them, faint and insistent, calling from the depths of Blackthorn Manor. And if you listen closely, you might hear Eleanor's voice among them, begging for release.